Decred is going through the roof. DCR is up while the rest of the market is down. The question is why? Who's buying here? Who's selling here? Let's have a look at the data most people aren't considering. Let's try to figure out how much longer this rally can last. The chart looks like a hockey stick. We are currently at $33. The price doubled in the last week, and apparently this is all just due to the privacy play. Zcash already appreciate a lot. Maybe now there is a rotation happening to the DCR token. Now Decred is slightly different to other privacy coins. It's both proof of work and proof of stake, and it's focused on community-based decision making. It's got its own wallet, and of course it can also be bought via exchanges. Like Bitcoin, it's got a $21 million maximum supply. But we're going to talk about the tokenomics in a second. Let's first have a look at the usage of Decred. Here's the number of transactions per day. This is a very long-term chart that starts in 2016. There isn't necessarily any long-term growth. The staking, however, did grow up until January of 2023. When staking participation is going up, that's good for the price because the circulating supply shrinks. It gets moved outside of circulation. Once the staking goes down though, that's bad because that adds more supply that can potentially get sold off. So the trend in the last 2 to 3 years wasn't that great. We've talked about the maximum supply of 21 million. 17 of those 21 million are already circulating. And so when we combine all of those factors, as in the number of transactions is not growing, the supply, however, is, and at the same time we see less and less staking, that should, as per tendency, not be that great for the price. So why on earth does the price suddenly double so quickly? Here is the market cap of Decred over time. We've seen several pump and dumps of various magnitude. This here is our recent rally. So we're now at a market cap of 570 million. And in the past, we have gone all the way up to 3 billion. Here is the price chart over time. So there's a slight difference, as in the price isn't growing as quickly as the market cap. It tends to peak a bit earlier, again, because of the growing supply over time. By the way, if this is not your very first time watching this channel, then feel free to subscribe over here. I publish videos regularly, and when you're subscribed, YouTube is more likely to recommend the videos of this channel again. Supply inflation isn't that much of a problem anymore, right? 81% is already circulating. It used to be a big problem though, more on that in a second. Because have a look at this chart. This is DCR relative to Bitcoin. Was it worth to take on all of that risk of buying a small altcoin over simply getting the leader in the space, Bitcoin? The answer, of course, is no. While the tokenomics of Decred looks similar to Bitcoin's, the adoption is not the same. And so from top to bottom, we've seen an underperformance of 99.3% from the first price in February 2016 to today. We've seen an underperformance of 90%. The chart indicates that maybe we could appreciate a bit more versus Bitcoin, another 50% potentially. But there's also, of course, massive risk that the long-term trend might continue. This chart has a bit less volatility. This looks at DCR relative to the others market cap. So how is Decred doing compared to other altcoins? Not compared to Bitcoin, but compared to the altcoin market. Again, we've got quite constant underperformance, probably because the stakers and the miners of the token tend to long-term sell off their allocations. But again, we have seen a massive rally recently. And there's actually a decent argument to be made that the long-term trend that had been established over all of those years might now finally break, because again, now we don't have the circulating supply issue anymore. The supply, at least relatively speaking, to what's currently circulating isn't growing as quickly anymore. And so maybe the volatility of this week, maybe this rally can attract enough attention to bring in some long-term investors. Because already right now, Decred is the 90th largest cryptocurrency. It's now in the top 100. It gets more attention. Now there is a main difference of this rally compared to other altcoin rallies we have seen in the last weeks. And that is how Decred is traded. Because very often these quick price rallies are just pump and dumps that use perpetual future arbitrage to make some money via volatility and liquidations. But Decred doesn't have any perpetuals. It's all just traded on the spot market. The market cap can go up by almost 300 million in a day, while there was only trading volume of 63 million. I've got my doubts that all of this is 100% natural. But the development of this rally is different to others. We do not see short liquidations. We do not see perpetual future engagement that pushes up prices short term. And so I think there's a good chance that this trend will break, that Decred will actually start outperforming. Maybe this run will bring us even beyond the April 2021 peak. Maybe the market cap can go all the way to 5, 6, maybe even 7 billion. Currently, we are only at $500 million, and this is, historically speaking, not much. It's also not much compared to other privacy coins. Now, isn't it fascinating how for most altcoins, the movements to the upside tend to be much faster compared to the movements to the downside. We shoot up and then over a long time we trickle down. Here's the example of Dogecoin relative to the others market cap. So when there's news, when there's a lot of attention, the Dogecoin price shoots up within 1 or 2 days to then come back down over several months. We're seeing the same for the Trump token. We shoot up, this was the announcement of the dinner, and then subsequently we come back down. There is a difference though between Dogecoin and the Trump token once we zoom out. So again, this is Trump relative to the others market cap. So the market cap of all of these smaller altcoins, and here is Dogecoin relative to the others market cap. So while we do have our pump and dumps in both cryptocurrencies, the long-term trend is very different, as in Dogecoin just goes with the overall market. It simply just trades in a somewhat constant range, while Trump tends to long-term underperform. And there is a fundamental reason why Trump underperforms long-term, and that is tokenomics. It's new tokens that hit the market over time. Have a look at the following data. This is the number of Trump tokens that get released over time. We started off with 200 million. Now we are at 363 million. So it's the early investors, it's the team, etc. that cashes out over time. And that selling pressure, those vesting unlocks, that dumping on retail, that's what's creating the long-term underperformance. Now, some people say that markets are efficient and that everything is already priced in, but I don't think those charts show that. There is inefficiency, and we can simply turn this around. Let's say we've got Bitcoin relative to the Trump token. Then we're getting this chart here. So since Trump launched, Bitcoin outperformed the Trump token by 560%. This is how I believe we can make money in crypto. It's not trying to find the one outperformer among all those altcoins that always go down. It's doing the exact opposite. It's trying to be allocated in a way that we make money when the insiders and the early investors make money as well. When they are dumping on the average retail investor, we make money because things like Trump tend to underperform long term. As long as the token dilution continues, as long as new tokens hit the market, this chart is very likely going to go up. I'm making money with that strategy already for 4 years. This is a monthly chart. Had I just dollar cost average into Bitcoin, I would have gotten the return here in light gray. Instead, I got the return in black because I also bet on falling prices of various altcoins. It is a mistake just looking at US dollar charts. Really what matters is your portfolio value measured in Bitcoin appreciating over time? If the answer is yes, you're probably doing something right. If the answer is no, then you might just so stick with Bitcoin and dollar cost average into Bitcoin and stay away from altcoins altogether. The Trump meme coin is just one out of many examples. Most altcoins have an increasing supply, and so here with Balancer relative to Bitcoin, so we go long Bitcoin, we bet on falling prices of Balancer, we can get this long-term chart. The strategy looks quite straightforward. There are a few caveats though. So for example, here with the Bitcoin to Balancer chart, we do have a lot of volatility along the way. Where does this volatility come from? It comes from small market caps. There is some token manipulation. There is some short squeezing happening along the way. And the smaller the market cap is, the more volatility we invite. So while the strategy is long-term profitable, we have to be aware of the potential pitfalls as well. And so I made dedicated videos on the topic. How can we actually make money from those inflating altcoins? Most altcoins do poorly and we don't have to find the needle in the haystack. The one altcoin that does well, we can just bet on the haystack continuing to go down because, again, the early investors, the VCs, they cash out and they dump on the retail investor. There are two important videos to watch: using perpetual futures on hyperliquid and risk management with relative valuation bets. It's half an hour each, so in total 1 hour of content. And after you've watched that, you know what to do in order to set up positions like this. Now, this here is currently my favorite trade. So this is the position that I will recommend to you once you have joined the premium membership. So you watch those two videos, you join the community. Afterwards, I will send you what to do in order to set up this trade. If you don't make money with that trade after holding it for 1 month, then I'll refund you your membership fee. I'm that confident in the strategy that you can simply just open that position, and if you're in the red, I don't want your money. The fee, by the way, is $125 per month. Again, if you don't make money with that trade, I will refund that. But of course, it's a monthly fee. So I share all of my trades in real time with the premium members. So for example, over here, this is where I closed a short position on the movement token. Move was also highly inflationary. We opened this over here where we were at the upper end of the trading range on a relative valuation chart. So we always look at the altcoin relative to the rest of the market. And then when we make quick gains, when we get closer to the lower end, we might also take some profit and wait until we go back again to the upper end of the trading range. I know at the beginning this strategy can be a bit daunting, but again, there is support in the different chats. There's also moderators that can help with any questions you might have. So feel free to check it out. The link is directly over here. Just click on the screen. It will lead you to the premium website. If it's your very first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish these regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you next time on YouTube or see you in premium. Cheers.